What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about something, it's piggybacking off the video I put up about intermittent fasting and keto diets, and how I thought the ketogenic option was probably the most optimal for intermittent fasting. And I went through explain why, as far as energy production and how your body's going to use energy in keto. Now, one of the things I talked about was not losing muscle mass. And the piece that we left out, because it's for this video, was even if your body has a source of fuel, okay? So intermittent fasting, even if your body has a source of fuel where it's using for energy, let's say, and then it's hard to really explain this because it sounds so bro, but it's actually what happens to the body. When you take everything and line it up, it makes perfect sense. Again, we're using bro science, science, and logic and put them together to get the output, which is a lot better than using just bro, just logic, or just science. You have three different views of one subject and all the pieces seem to fit. And I think that's really what's been missing. I think all along people choose one or the other. And I think that combination is really kind of what will get you truly the fastest results. Now, we talked about the energy production through the ketones. Now, as your day goes along and your body needs to repair itself, okay, not for energy, but to repair itself. And you're in a ketogenic diet, but you're intermittent fasting. So you still have those long hours of fasting windows that you don't have any protein or amino acids coming in, but you have ketones on your body to use for energy. So technically, as your body's using that energy, it can move around, it can do everything it needs to do. You can breathe, your brain can function, everything's going on. But now what happens if you're weight training and stuff? If you're weight training, you're causing damage to the muscle. Your body wants to recover right after. It doesn't have the amino acids to recover the muscle tissue. If you're training in the morning and you eat at night, you have all that time. Your body's not just going to sit around and wait. It's going to break down muscle tissue. Well, how can you stop that from happening? Stay in intermittent fasting, not spike your insulin levels, which would throw you out of fasting, and still maintain your muscle mass. And then by the end of the day, when you're actually eating all that protein, now your muscle mass is maintained. When it needs to actually grow, it'll have what it needs to grow. Very, very simple. Now, years ago, they came up with a concept of drinking branched-chain amino acids throughout the day. It was like you dump them in the jug, like we used to do that with 5%, and you drink them all day long, which actually gave your body a source of energy and actually did spike insulin. Branched-chain amino acids do spike insulin, and they stop catabolism, right? They don't cause anabolism. So technically that theory of how that's working like that, which is essentially you're mimicking what an IV would do in a hospital. When you get an IV and it feeds your body throughout the day, throughout the night, whatever medicines that you need. Technically we're doing like an oral IV when we're drinking something like that throughout the day. Now, the principle is sound. However, the actual ingredient used was not what was needed. What was actually needed was essential amino acids, which contain branched chains. Now, a lot of people go, well, Jerry, I take essential amino acids, I take branched chains. It's like, look up essential amino acids. In the definition, it doesn't say branched chains. It says the branched chains plus the other ones. All of those amino acids are needed to increase muscle mass or even maintain muscle mass, okay, after your workouts. So it's not just a theory. It's something that I have done. I've done with clients. I'm able to replicate it over and over again. Therefore, it works. Now, that's the bro science is, okay, we're doing like an IV, we're drinking it all day long. That's the bro science part of it, right? The science part is you're introducing amino acids that your body actually needs when it needs them, okay? That's the science part. The logic part says, well, if I do this in periods throughout the day, I'll be able to barely keep that where it needs to be as far as muscle mass, but I'll stay in fasting. I won't push myself out. I won't go over amino acid wise that I think I need. So now we say, okay, we have the logic, we have the bro, and we have the science. How do we piece this together and make it work? You have the 18-hour eating window and an 18-hour fasting window and a 6-hour eating window. Now, in the last one, because my math is so bad, I said 5 hours and 18 hours. So somewhere I lost an hour throughout the day. But the fact is, I'm terrible at math too. Terrible at reading, spelling, math, pretty much terrible at everything except talking on this goddamn camera. But you have your 18 hours of fasting, your 6 hours of eating window. Now, when you get up in the morning, your body has probably digested all that food that you ate in your eating window. It has probably flipped towards catabolism. However, growth hormone is very high. It's usually highest in the morning. So now you're looking at like, your body's technically not in a state where it's growing, but it's probably not in a state where it's breaking down either. You're getting up, you're starting to move around. Now you go and you do your workout, right? Well, after that workout, your body needs amino acids. It needs them very badly. If you don't give them to them, your body breaks down muscle tissue. We've already been breaking it down in the gym. So you give yourself the amino acids, about 5 grams of amino acids after your workout. That will literally give your body enough to stop it from going into catabolism. Now they say that about 3 hours later, this is the science, another science part, 3 hours later the amino acid pool is depleted. So I would say about 3 hours later, 2 to 5 grams of amino acids. That's all you need. That's going to give you about 10 grams of roughly protein that you would have to take in to get that. And that will actually not spike your insulin levels like the branched chains by themselves. So branched chains by themselves, when you're taking in 5 grams, is not the same thing as 5 grams of essential. There's much less branched chains because you have all the rest of the essential amino acids, which cause less of an insulin spike. So now you're not having the problems you would have if you were having branched chains or eating food. You're still technically fasting. Now this is intermittent fasting for high-level athletes, okay? This is not for the average person who doesn't, barely works out or doesn't work out. High-level athletes that do not want to lose muscle mass, and they are breaking shit down nonstop every day. They're pushing, redlining all the time, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. This is what's going to help you here. 3 hours later, another 2.5 to 5 grams. That's probably going to last you about roughly, because you were asleep during part of your fasting window. When you got up, you were training, so that took care of part of the fasting window. You had a couple of doses of amino acids throughout the days. That would end the fasting window, and then it's time to eat. Your fast is broken, your muscle mass is maintained, you're not having the issues that you would have if you stayed fasting through the whole time. Now you eat, the eating window takes place, you're chock full of amino acids that immediately get used, stored in the amino acid pool. When the food is done digesting, whatever's left over is stored in the amino acid pool, used as needed, and the whole process starts over the next day. Now, would anybody argue with the fact that this works? I'm sure that there are plenty of people that are going to argue it. My take is this. Try it. Just try it. If you're a solid science-only person, it's not going to work. If you're a solid bro-only person, it's not going to work. If you're a solid logic-only person, it's not going to work. Everybody thinks that. But when you really stop and think about it put together in that combination, it doesn't just make perfect sense. It's all those things together, and it's how the body actually works. Like, you're using the way that your body works and encouraging it to do what it naturally does to maintain your muscle mass. Like, you're not trying to do something where technically if your amino acid pool depletes every 3 hours, right, then why would you deplete yourself all day long of food? Like, if the body was meant to be depleted all day long of food, like, you would not have to worry about depleting of amino acids. There would be another way that the body would store amino acids like glycogen and fat. But we don't have that. Why? Because the body wasn't necessarily made, although hunters and gatherer time, back in the fucking cavemans, they went long stretches while they're eating. Why? Because they couldn't find fucking food. Once they figured out that they can farm, that is done. The body is now, and let's face facts, the body now will be working efficiently when it's fed the way that it needs to be. It doesn't need carbohydrates. It doesn't need, well, it needs fats for fat-soluble vitamins, but it doesn't need those for energy, right? Your body can use body fat for energy, but it absolutely needs those amino acids coming in all the time. It needs them. So hopefully this will explain a little bit to you guys about some of the things that I've been doing over the last year. Some of the things that can be replicated. It's very easy little things that you can kind of switch out, and all of a sudden results just take off. So let me know what you guys think down below. Hit me up and let me know if you've experienced something similar, like you stumbled upon it and didn't really think about it but wound up doing the same thing. Let me know. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostrength.com's blog. It's the intermittent fasting, aminos all day long bicep, and we are